Alexa, and I'm here with 10 things I no longer buy. Now, some of these are things that I haven't bought in years, and some of them are because I began my KonMari journey and sort of learned how to reevaluate what I needed in my life. And some are the result of sort of learning some minimalist beauty ideas, which I also have a video about that. So I could really expand just in makeup and beauty alone, but I'm gonna do across the board. But I'm gonna start with number one, and these aren't in order of importance or anything. Number one is I don't buy razors anymore. And that is because I have one of these handy dandy depilators. Now these things, this is painful. I only learned about it about a year ago, and I sort of thought, do women actually use these things? Well, it turns out they do, and once you get used to the pain, what's cool is, first of all, you'll never buy razors again. Second of all, you use it like once a week, and then the hair, when it grows back, it's because it was yanked out by the root, how pleasant, it grows back not blunt cut, so you don't see it as much, so you can kind of walk around looking a little furrier and it won't look bad. Of course, you always have the option to not depilate at all, and that is perfectly fine. My second category is just toiletries in general. I've really cut back, and as I said in my minimalist beauty video, water is the magical thing. And I used to have very bad skin when I was in my 20s, and only probably in the last 5 to 7 years have I really seen a vast improvement in my skin, and a huge part of it was beginning to wash with water only, because you don't want to destroy the natural oil barrier in your face. I also have always liked to use baking soda rather than toothpaste for my teeth. I like the clean feeling that it gives. I also swear by this hyaluronic acid lotion that I use at night, and sometimes in the morning. Actually, sometimes I use it all the time. In fact, this has lasted forever, but it's finally getting to the last legs. It's amazing in travel. I'll bring like a little bottle for it for travel. And it's so good because you know how your face gets really dry when you travel? This is the cure for that. I also, when it comes to hair, I stopped using so much shampoo, and a lot of times I would do the conditioner only washing, and that's been wonderful. And I used to be very dependent on dandruff shampoo, and now I find that for the most part I don't need it, although actually right now I kind of do, but in general I don't. So all of those are things that I no longer buy either at all or large quantities. I also used to be a comb only person, although recently I've been trying to grow my hair, so I got a brush, but in general I'm quite happy with just a comb. Number 3 is paper towels, and we've always, again, this is one of those things we've done for years. We've survived quite nicely with just cloth towels in the kitchen. Number 4 is books, and now with the proliferation of these free little libraries that people have in their neighborhoods, I love those, and I think it's also a sign of the abundance of our society and the freely available information on the internet, that nowadays you can find a lot of books, and very current books often, in these free libraries that people have on the street. And obviously if it's a better neighborhood, and the Bay Area is rather filled with, you know, intellectuals and people with at least some disposable income, so you're able to pick up some pretty nice books. So I haven't paid for books in a really long time. Number 5 is rugs, and this is again something that has to do more with our type of family. I started to realize many years ago that we can't have rugs. We're just not a rug family. We don't take care of them. It's a waste of money. The pets will destroy them. I always keep on fantasizing about a really truly washable rug, but in general, I just would rather just not deal with it, and as a result, we just have our hardwood floors. And that adds to number 6, which is not having vacuum cleaners. I haven't had a vacuum cleaner in years. Instead, I just have a broom. And occasionally I think, oh, should I get one of these Roombas, which are very expensive? But you know what? I work at home, and what I've seen is they're quite noisy. And again, I think it's sort of anti-minimalist. I mean, I think the better thing is just use a broom and a dust mop and a real mop, and you're done. Number 7 is a gym membership. And I think memberships and subscriptions are something you should always sort of reevaluate periodically. And I'll get to another subscription that we have later in my list. But we finally got rid of the family gym membership, which we just weren't really using. My husband still has just an individual one, which is quite a bit cheaper because he's really the only guy who takes advantage of it. And even with him, I think it's only like once a week. But, you know, I go running, I go biking. It's just, there's no need for that gym membership. Or if nothing else, maybe it's, you know, getting rid of that allows me to free up for something else, you know, some other sport or event that might cost something, and might take some time as well. Number 8 is nail polish, and that is something that I got rid of when I did do the KonMari method in the bathroom. I had a nice little rainbow assortment of nail colors, and I got rid of all of them, and I haven't had them for like 3 years now, and I don't miss them. I occasionally will buff my nails. Occasionally I will put on a clear sort of nail growth nail polish on. I also sometimes will put on these fake nails. I think they're Impress with the designs, and they're really pretty, and I'll clip them down to like a reasonable length. But even so, I actually don't like the sensation of them on my fingers. It bothers me. And since I play piano and I cut my nails frequently, you know, there's just not a lot of point to doing all that. Number 9 is alcoholic drinks, and drinks in general, like coffees, you know, Starbucks, that kind of thing. Now, coffees I will occasionally buy myself, either if I really need to pick me up for some reason. I usually won't do it around my hometown. But if I'm traveling, and then a coffee is, you know, quite nice and quite convenient. It's a nice way to feel good when your energy is flagging, and it's usually a good way to get an inexpensive bite to eat. So I will do it if I'm traveling, but at home almost never. And alcoholic drinks, I can safely say I've probably only purchased myself an alcoholic drink a handful of times in my life, if at all. I might not have even purchased myself any. Very, very few, let's just put it that way. And not drinking alcohol is something that is not hard for me. So I feel a little bit dishonest if I sort of act like, you know, everybody should do it, because I realize some people probably feel about alcohol the way I feel about sugar, although I have given up sugar on occasion. But yeah, it's not hard for me not to drink. I never developed the habit, and I don't like to, since I like sweets so much, I figure, why do I need a second set of calories? I also like to be mentally in control, at least not out of control due to any kind of substance. I might be out of control due to my own mind, but not due to some sort of other substance. And that brings me to my final item. And that is another item that can definitely set your budget out of control. And I think people are more and more cutting the cable. We did this so long ago, at least 10 years ago, I would say. We finally cut the cable. We had Dish Network, we had the satellite, cable TV. And like anybody married to a Mexican, my husband, had to have all of his Latin American channels and all of the sports channels. And the amazing thing is that he did give it up. And part of it, actually, now that I think about it, was economic hardship at the time. But it was always costing a fortune. It was never what it was supposed to be advertised as. It was always something extra. They were always throwing in extra channels, and then the bill would be something ludicrous. So now we do have a Netflix subscription, but one thing I like to do is I like to periodically just cancel it for a month or 2 months, just to kind of reset, because it's like you don't need these things all the time. But I will say, we love Netflix. We do watch a ton of screens. So, it's not like we're really achieving the screen-free lifestyle by any stretch. And I do like the content that it's on Netflix. And I think we're actually in a golden age of television. There's too much television, but there is a golden age of television that we're in. And so it's kind of cool to be able to watch all these shows. And for $8 a month, it's not bad at all. So, but compared to a cable TV, if you are still paying, I kind of feel sorry for you. I think it's definitely past time to cut that cost. Just to declutter your bills and pad your wallet back up. So I hope you liked those 10 items, and I would love it if you shared some of the things that you have stopped buying. Like I said, some of these things are things that we've never bought, and some of them are newer things thanks to some of the minimalist trends. And I think overall, I just want to wrap it up by saying, personally, I believe we're living in a very abundant age. And I realized that there are places that are not abundant. I mean, that are going through crises. Like, for instance, Venezuela is going through a terrible time, and I feel terrible for those people. But a lot of times these crises are actually political in nature. It's not like there isn't enough to feed or take care of those people. And in general, around the world, I think standards of living are increasing, and we all have access to these tiny computers, and we all have access to the internet and information flow. So in many ways, I think now the challenge, and I think this is why minimalism is so big, now the challenge is, okay, with all this abundance, how do we avoid completely blowing our planet up with consumption? And how do we, not sully what we have? And so I think that's why it's so wonderful that we're all looking at our consumption and also just questioning the consumerist messages and going, maybe I don't need to buy something new every month or every season. Maybe I'm just fine the way I am. Maybe I will be happy with the same old car. Maybe I will be happy staying in the same house. There's a lot of things to be said for not seeking novelty because you're getting those messages from society, but really sort of going, do I really need that novelty? Or can I get the novelty without having it be something that had to be manufactured explicitly for that purpose? Maybe I can get something reusable and enjoy that feeling of novelty without buying something new that had to be made with energy and supplies and resources and shipped with jet fuel and all that good stuff. So anyway, I hope all this was interesting to you. Share your decluttering stories and your minimalist tips in the comments below. Thanks for watching, liking or disliking, and subscribing. Okay, bye.